Sporty FM.
Ghana boxing and its challenges. You see, Nathan, when we sit on the show and we try to push for the right things to be done, it is not because we have interests. It is not because we are hungry. And it is not because we just want to bash people or we just want to criticize people. No. But we do some of these things with the intention or the intent that those who are responsible for making sure our sports grow know exactly what they have to do, be responsible enough to make sure the sports that we so love, whether it's football, whether it's boxing, whether it's athletics, Ghanaians begin to get a lot of joy. And what's getting a lot of joy? The key actors, the players, the boxers, the athletes, would also benefit as expected. When all of those components come together, you realize that sports now becomes a pillar in terms of the development of the nation. And they just ended World Athletics Championships. It was the United States of America that won the most medals, right? What does it do to a nation like that? Kenya followed on the medal table. How did they get there? What did they do right? What didn't they do? Where are they competitively strong? Where do they have advantage when it comes to sports? What have they done with it? Those are the conversations that we want to be having. And those who are responsible for manning federations or associations in this country must know that their core responsibility is to make sure their athletes or their star performers who make them relevant are well taken care of. Nathan, somewhere in April 2025, somewhere in March 2025.
Yes. This is
there was an unfortunate incident at the Bukum boxing, where the late Gabriel Olariwaju
exactly. He was fighting John in Banugu, aka Power.
He collapsed in the ring.
Yeah, he did.
By the time he got into hospital, he was dead. So the doctors confirmed that he was dead on arrival. He was dead before he was brought in. Or he was brought in dead. B.I.D. That's the medical term. Now, Nathan, after that, the sports minister, Kofi Adams, commissioned an 8-member body. Was it 8? Yes, 8. To look into the matters and find out, determine the circumstances that led to the death of the boxer, determine whether the organizers and promoters and the promoters of the boxing match took adequate steps by international standards to prevent the death of the boxer, went on to determine whether licensing authorities acted with due diligence. Nathan, all of those things were part of the terms of reference. This committee sat down and put together a 100-page document. A 100-page document detailing what happened, what investigations were done, how Ghana boxing was being run, and where they had got into in terms of how they steer the affairs of the boxing association. On the 17th of May, 2025, this committee presented their report to the sports minister. Okay, and this is May. On the 23rd of May, 2025, the sports ministry issued a release accepting the recommendations of the Amakai Amatefield Committee, Ambassador retired. Now, Nathan, between the 23rd of May and the 24th of September, today, 124 days, 4 months, 1 day, not a single recommendation from that committee's report has been implemented. Not a single one.
Not a single one.
Not a single one.
Okay.
Now, Nathan, you ask the question, why? What we know is that the minister, based on the recommendations of the committee, one of the recommendations being the license of the GBA. And when we talk about license of the GBA, we go to the National Sports Authority.
Okay.
Now, the recommendation said the license under which the GBA can continue to operate by virtue of Regulation 13 of the Sports Regulations 2023 LI 2477 should be withheld by the NSA until the review of the GBA's constitution to reflect the concerns addressed in this report, implementation of the recommended reforms, and the conduct of new elections within 6 months from the submission of this report. For the avoidance of doubt, the GBA, as presently constituted, cannot function as to organize, promote, or administer the affairs of professional boxing in this country. In the interim, the NSA should constitute an entity or a body made up of competent and committed persons to take over the functions of the GBA to administer professional boxing in this country. The NSA should accordingly notify all international sanctioning bodies and professional boxing organizations to which the GBA is affiliated with its decision to withhold the license of the GBA as presently constituted until further notice. So, Nathan, there were clear timelines.
Yeah.
Within 6 months from the submission of that report, which was on the 17th of March, everything concerning Ghana boxing should see proper transformation.
Okay.
Nathan,
6 months.
Within 6 months, so they gave clear timelines. As we speak today, 4 months has gone under the drain. Nothing has been done. What is shocking is that between then and now, several boxing bouts have been held at the Bukum Boxing Arena. One would ask, per what the committee recommended, has there been strict adherence? Has there been strict adherence to how boxing should be organized, professional boxing should be organized in the country? Because a lot of concerns were raised. What we found out then was that the GBA did not have a medical doctor. They were using a nurse. How they were sanctioning fights was problematic. How they took care of boxers pre-bouts, in-bouts, post-bouts, medically was a challenge. There was no doping control. All of those things were supposed to have been put in place within the 6 months after the report, before elections, for Ghana boxing to take off properly. But Nathan, the NSA decided to sleep on this matter. Today I hear the NSA boss telling everybody that, oh, these things take time, these things take time. Did he not see the report? Did he realize that the report had clear timelines? Did he read to find out that, look, the report gave them 6 months after the submission of the report. Okay. Unless the committee's work was not important, or unless the committee's work clearly did not matter to the reformation of Ghana boxing.
Okay.
And so the NSA decided to do other things rather than deal with the matters. Now, what happened? When all the discussion around this committee's work and the report came out, the GBA president, who testified before this committee, stepped aside. When he stepped aside, he handed over to his vice president, Mr. Roger Bano, who also went to the committee and testified before the committee. He went to the committee and accused his president of all sorts of things. All of them are documented in the report.
You mean Mr. Bano?
Mr. Bano
went before the committee.
He went before the committee, spoke about his boss and how he had run the Ghana Boxing Authority. Okay? And recommended what needed to be done.
Okay.
To make sure Ghana boxing got better. He himself. Now, when he took over, they quickly commissioned a boxing board. They quickly commissioned a boxing board, making it look like the problem was Nikwe. And once Nikwe stepped aside and they constituted their own people, mainly people who were part of the Nikwe era, they were going to steer the affairs of Ghana boxing properly. this while, the NSA should or was tasked to withdraw or revoke the license of the GBA.
Okay.
The NSA did not do that. Roger Bano, Alaji Tofiki, chairman of promotions, Michael Atotete, chairman of promotions, Shadrack Akwe, technical advisor, Kaloko member, Isaac Pakpokwe, treasurer, lawyer Sami Laye member, Dr. Eric Tete, head of medical, Andy Note, PRO, Adama Adi, Nigonti member, Patrick Johnson, general secretary. Nathan, all of them were now managing the Ghana Boxing Authority. All this while, the NSA had not implemented the recommendations of the committee. Then it got to a point where the tenure of office or the tenure of office of Nikwe, now handing over to Roger Bano, got to an end.
Okay.
The NSA boss gave them a month's extension.
Yeah, I remember that.
All that time we were expecting that post that expiration of the extension of tenure, we will now see the normalization committee possibly kicking and manage the affairs of Ghana boxing. But no, that also didn't happen. So as we speak, this current boxing board are working without the authority to manage the GBA.
Of course, because the 1 month had passed.
The 1 month has passed.
And we didn't hear any notice of another extension.
In what capacity are they running Ghana
Very
boxing
good,
today?
very good. Great.
The NSA,
that's a very good
NSA must come and answer to us. The NSA must come and tell us.
Because the first extension we heard.
Yes.
So if up until now, 24th September, they are still functioning, under which authority are they functioning? How are they functioning?
Now, Nathan, Dr. Eric Tete, who has come in as head of medical, we all know, per the report, that he was doing his housemanship. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Per the report, he was the same doctor that Nikwe spoke about as being, yes, Dr. Eric Tete, IED. He was the one. He holds a provisional registration from Ghana Medical and Dental Council and has not completed the required 2-year housemanship, limiting his ability to take up a full role. This was the report of the committee. They listed him again as the medical doctor for the GBA. Nobody understands. So that's why I'm saying that. If they saw the report and still went ahead with all of these things, it is shocking to some of us. And Nathan, if Ghana boxing was not run properly, a lot of things, a lot of infractions, and Nathan, and I will not say what I don't know. When the committee released their report, they were clear. They said the GBS license should immediately be withheld by the NSA and its finances comprehensively audited. An interim body should take over. The committee proposes an immediate appointment of a qualified physician to the board of the interim boxing oversight body to supervise implementation of health and safety standards. They were clear on all of that. Okay. Now, after the report, they were clear by telling the good people of Ghana that, look, the committee concluded that the GBA, as presently constituted, not only Nikwe, Nathan, let's be clear here. The GBA, as presently constituted, cannot effectively organize, promote, or administer the affairs of professional boxing in this country. Nathan, how then would the NSA sit down,
the voice of sport,
holding a broom and trying to clean Ghana boxing, now go back and maintain the status quo because only Nikwe had exited? Roger Bano was his vice president. Tofik and Co were all there.
Yes.
So, the same people who were part of what the report would describe as not being properly constituted to organize, promote, and administer Ghana boxing are the same people who are there. How do you fix the system? How do you fix the mess? For 4 good months after the ministry and the minister issued a statement accepting the recommendations of the Amatefe committee, Nothing has been done. The only appointment they did was to bring in another member who had been part of the system, Patrick Johnson.
Yes.
Until Nikwe came, he had been part of the system. So it's not as if they brought in a new person, a completely neutral person, to come and join them as general secretary.
Okay. I do know that he's like the boxing person at the NSA, right?
Yes.
I think he was the one the NSA attached to
yes, so
the GBA.
So when the extension was given, Patrick Johnson was also appointed as one of the people, general secretary. You know, per their constitution, there's supposed to be a general secretary of the boxing.
Yes.
Who normally comes from NSA.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So after Patrick Johnson was removed by Nikwe, they found a way to bring him back. So Jan Pofuanka found a way to bring him back as general secretary. So everything that has happened in recent times, the boxing bouts that have been organized have been done under the umbrella of this new body led by Roger Bano.
Okay, it's true. My question is, if they were doing so, who mandated them to do so?
The NSA.
I go back to this
Yes.
extension, 1 month extension,
Yes.
and after that, we don't know what has happened.
So clearly, the NSA has given them the power to continue running the affairs of Ghana boxing. Now, Nathan, why am I concerned? And why am I worried? And why am I bringing all of these things up? Look,
Just not to interrupt you. I just hope that maybe my producers can see if we can get somebody from the NSA. We just want to find out after the first extension.
Yes, which elapsed somewhere in August.
In August, were the people giving another extension? Maybe they gave them another extension and they decided not to make it public.
Possibly so.
Maybe.
But we don't know.
But we don't know. So we just want to be sure. But anyway, Ray, proceed.
But Nathan, why am I concerned? You see, when we went to Bukom yesterday, when we went to find out exactly what's been going on around the space, we made a few discoveries. The people within the boxing community, the fans who go to see them, said they don't understand why the boxer, the late Bahubali, was consistently in the ring. Within the space of 8 months, he's appeared in close to 3 boxing bouts. They don't understand.
And that is very strange.
Yes, and that is the account of the people there. And they say that he's always fought boxers who are heavier than him. He's always fought boxers outside his weight class. And yesterday I told you that Bahubali is a light heavyweight boxer. The boxer he took on is a cruiserweight.
He's a cruiserweight, yes.
Even in his last bout against Tabiti, he fought at the Bridgerweight. Another heavyweight. So that's Bridgerweight is between cruiserweight and heavyweight.
Okay.
So it means that he's heavier. He fights in the heavier weights.
Yes.
So I don't know if before signing that contract with the late Bahubali, in that contract, there were clauses where either Dickson had to drop down weight to light heavyweight, or Bahubali had to move up weight. And Nathan, moving up weight was always going to be difficult for Bahubali. To cruiserweight, to take on Dickson was always going to be difficult. And that was why you realize that the punches he received were heavy punches from a boxer
who was naturally
in his heavyweight division.
Sporty FM.
Okay, so that was the question a lot of people are asking. Now, look, who sanctioned this bout?
Because this is really weird.
Who sanctioned this
I've never
bout?
heard 2 boxers of different weights fighting. No way.
So what was in that contract? What was in that fight contract the 2 boxers signed and same brought to the GBA for them to approve this bout? What was in it? The GBA must be speaking.
Yeah, it is true.
So if they have press statements or if they have releases, they must be speaking to some of these matters. And you see, Nathan, there's this interesting thing that the GBA, they've done their bit. They sanctioned the bout is over, the boxer has gone home, fair enough, no problem. But Nathan, and that was what the PRO said, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
on the news.
In fact, let's listen to the PRO.
Okay, let's listen to
let me continue.
Mr. Andrew Naughty. His voice was played on the 6 a.m. bulletin, Sporting News at 6. We credit Asempa FM for this voice. So this is the voice as was played in this morning's news.
Boxing, just like any other sport, they come with hazards. They don't happen quite often, but once in a while, things like this will strike us, and then we go back to the table and we look at Niama, and Niama and we try to strengthen those things. This is the second time this year I had such an incident. Definitely the GBA would also be taking certain measures just to improve or enhance the safety of boxers. If the report comes out and we all get to know the actual cause of death, definitely what must be needed to be done will surely be done.
All right, so that was Andrew Naughty. Andrew Naughty is the media committee chairman of the GBA.
You see,
now, even before you continue, the info I'm getting is that Bahubali fought in May.
Yes.
Against a boxer named
Jonathan Tete.
Yes.
Jonathan Tete, yes.
And in that bout too,
he received a lot of punishment.
Yes.
But that was a light heavyweight contest.
That was a light heavyweight.
Yeah, that was a light heavyweight contest. Then we saw him again
taking on Dickson.
But he received punishment.
Yes, that's the thing. That's the point. That's so, which means that you can tell his body had been through a lot.
Yes. And you see, Nathan, this part where the GBA smartly tell us that, they sanctioned the bout. They did what they had to do pre, during, and after the bout, and the boxer went, so they are fine. Nathan,
I have another Andrew Naughty voice here.
Today? Okay, yes, you can play that one as well.
Okay. I think this is where he talks about.
This is what he talks about.
Yes, he says
so let's listen
people should be cautious in how they apportion blame or who they point to as being responsible. Let's hear from Andrew Naughty.
Boxers, there is something related to boxing. So when a promoter comes or the fight be about, the GBA will require that make sure that the boxer does A, B, C, D in terms of the medicals. You bring the proof to the medical team of the GBA. They will assess it and then give approval or otherwise. You understand? So if the GBA did all of this and the fight successfully ended, and I clear no medically and no car, the rest of the way no and Shadan lie in the bosom of the GBA after the fight. So we need to be very circumspect about the things we say.
All right, Andrew Naughty speaking there. He's the chairman of the GBA's media committee.
So Nathan,
this doesn't...
Yeah, so Nathan, granted. You see, let's give it to them. Granted, they did their pre-bout medical examination mandatory. And we want to know the extent to which that mandatory examination was done. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
We want to know how both boxers weighed in before this fight. The weight of both boxers before this fight.
Yeah.
The contract that was brought to the GBA that they approved, we want to know. Together with the medical records, we want to know. Because all of these things will be documented.
Of course.
Again, there is supposed to be a mandatory post-bout medical. Mandatory. And looking at the punishment the boxer received, you cannot give him para and tell him to go home. He has to be thoroughly examined. Because with the amount of punishment he took, there could be the possibility of maybe an intracranial hemorrhage or anything.
Or simply put, bleeding in the head.
Thank you very much. Okay? There was always going to be that possibility. That is why even in the report, they even tell us that, look, you even need a neurologist at that level.
Of course. Because there could be some brain damage.
Exactly.
You have to check. Yeah.
You have to check all of these things. Okay? So we are asking. Did they do post-bout medical checkup for the boxer? It's not admitting that they did same and clear the boxer to go home. Did the GBA do that? Because if they did, again, there should be evidence. If they did that, there should be evidence. In the past, we were told that the medical examination the GBA do was to check the BP of the boxer and check the pulse. And then they look at their eyes.
Yeah,
they look at their eyes.
Yeah.
That was the medical examination they were doing before boxers went into the ring. We want to know if the ECGs and the stress tests and all of those things were done. And that is why I'm saying that. Nathan, if the current boxing board are not privy to matters in this report and what needs to be done, it means they'll continue doing what they used to do that eventually brought up this committee after the death of Raymond. Now the boxer fights. He goes home. He dies 11 days after. You think in any proper investigation, do not go back to the fight?
Of course. There's no way this will be investigated and they'll decouple it from the bout. No.
The GBA must know this.
No.
There's no way we'll go into this matter
And not
revisit the boxing bout the boy went into.
It is part of the equation.
And now look at all the procedures. If every single protocol was followed, according to international best practices.
The voice of sport.
That was why, Nathan, we were pushing for a thorough overhaul of Ghana boxing. Because it is almost as if Nikwe was taken out for a new group to come and continue from where Nikwe left off. Nothing has changed. We listened to Joshua Clottey. Joshua Clottey also made his own submissions on this matter. Clottey was speaking about the fact that Bahubali fought a boxer who was outside his weight class. Let's listen to him. I didn't say this one.
Joshua Clottey, former IBF welterweight champion, sharing his thoughts on this very sad incident and the concerns he had prior to the bout, or as it was happening.
Bahubali he killed himself. So he killed himself because any manager, any promoter, any coach, they are fighting.
Bahubali killed himself. We have to say the truth. The fight wasn't organized by his manager or coach. He arranged the fight himself, and he came to tell the coach he wanted to fight with Jesse. Bahubali doesn't know how boxing works. The GBA needs to take their time to investigate into the matter, because we don't want these kinds of deaths to continue. But what we want are world titles. It wasn't his fight, and everyone knows this, but he still went ahead to fight, and look at what happened.
Because the guys we don't want death. We want world titles. And yet the fight. One losing fight. This is one losing fight. Obia as I said this on to me. Now he started talking, said Obebu Dixie.
So that was Joshua Clottey, former IBF. Ray, let me read this message I got. I won't tell you who sent it.
Okay, read it.
Right? But it says, no professional boxer should be fighting 3 bouts in a year, especially in the bigger weight division. 2 fights in a year at best. Professional boxers use 3 months to prepare for bouts. No way should Bahubali be fighting in May and then fight again in September. The GBA has a lot of questions to answer. They are mandated to sanction every professional bout in Ghana. This death is so avoidable.
Nathan, you see, let me
And the person who sent me the message is very up close and personal.
Nathan, I know what you're talking about.
With boxing.
Nathan, I know what you're talking about. You see, when the former champ was speaking, did you hear what he said? He said, "Any fight. Let me show you how fights are made in Bukum." So, you realize the boxer who came here, Bako, Trophilos.
Yes.
Daniel Gosh in the bantamweight was unbeaten. He was in a lower weight division, but he worked his way up to take him on because there was a lot of trash talk.
Yeah.
That he can't beat Gosh, Onyoshile. They make the fight. You get it? Most times, they look for the crowd pullers. Gosh is a crowd puller. Bahubali is a crowd puller. So, Dickson, another boxer running around. You know, Dickson, Obanyojile, let's make the fight. In most instances, that is how they make fights. So they look at the boxer who is strong, the boxer who is making waves, the boxer who is getting a lot of crowd behind him, popular. Then it is either they look for a boxer he can push down easily,
aka
Achiagbeshi, or they look for a boxer who is strong and can challenge him. So if you realize, when you were watching the bout between Dickson and Bahubali, the commentary behind it, what was the guy saying?
Agbe Bahubali.
And the whole stadium.
Listeners, to wait, Bahubali is getting killed, literally.
Yes, that is what they like. So it is almost like they organize fights based on the feeling in the community.
Yeah.
It reminds
me of the Bukom Banku and Bastille battle. It almost, it's almost like a grudge that
good.
That must be settled. Yeah, that must be settled.
That is how most fights happen in Bukom.
Yes. And Game Boy.
See, most of the time, trash talking, all of those things, then they organize fights. But Nathan, you see,
but even that,
you see, there's nothing wrong with that. And in the case of Gosh and Pakualote, it went to the level where the WBO actually sanctioned that bout. So it was a WBO sanctioned bout.
Yeah, that's
under a strong boxing ticket, a strong boxing promotion. That was the Sharaf Mahama production with American. Okay, properly recognized.
Yeah.
The right things were done.
Yeah.
Now, Nathan, ask me, if indeed Bahubali wasn't up to cruiserweight, how did that fight happen? Everybody says that Jay fight, it's not his fight. How did the GBA look at that contract?
Ray.
Look at that contract the promoter brought and sanctioned that bout. You see, how they looked at it, looked at the boxer's record, looked at all of the things that will play a part, sanctioned that bout is what shocks me. Now we've all seen what has come on. But you see, what shocks me again is that when Roger Banner went to the committee, he told the committee that when they go and do pre-fight medicals, they only do BP and pulse checks. He went to tell the committee. He went to tell the committee that Edward Asante was not a licensed doctor. He knew.
Yeah.
He knew. He went to tell the committee. And he went to tell the committee that they didn't have any consistent ringside doctors. So he went to the committee to tell them what was going on. He as vice president, as vice president of the GBA, when he went, that was what he went to tell them. Then he went on to tell them that Nikwe,
who Asma refers to as my friend.
Yes, Nikwe, he said the GBA president allegedly manages take dive boxes and interferes in results, especially involving his son. Those were the allegations he made against Nikwe when he went to the committee.
I see.
Take a dive. You want to say take a dive boxer, you understand?
Achiagbeshi, yeah.
So a lot of people even believe that this bout that was made between Bahubali
and Dickson
was another Achiagbeshi.
Yeah.
Because clearly there was a mismatch.
The two boxers were by default not in the same weight class.
He went on to tell the committee that they did not maintain medical records of boxers. Release letters were being misused. Nathan, Mr. Bano, this is what you see, Nathan, we don't speak to things we don't know. And he recommended.
These are the words of his own testimony
before the committee.
So if anybody thinks we are fabricating stuff,
so he recommended to the committee that they appoint a qualified medical doctor. When he came with his board, he appointed Mr. Tete.
Okay.
Mr. Tete,
he a doctor?
Mr. Tete, like I said, before the committee, it was held that he had not done his mandatory 2-year housemanship. So, he was not fit to occupy that role. Again, testimony of the committee. So, all of these things have happened. You ask the question, who are the people managing the GBA? Who are the people sanctioning the bout? Who are the people doing the medicals? What medicals are being done? They cannot run away from this. They cannot run away from this. When you go to Bukom today, when you go to Choko, everybody is saying Bahubali shouldn't have been in the ring with
Yes.
this guy.
Because everybody's saying that he fought not too long
And
ago.
everybody is pointing fingers at the GBA. He could have died of natural causes.
Sport
Okay? He
FM.
could have died of natural causes. But there was a preceding event, which is the boxing, that we cannot leave out when we are trying to do an inquest into what killed the boxer. If Jan Pofranka knows what would be best for Ghana boxing, as a matter of urgency, that boxing board that is currently in place, he must set them aside. They must step aside.
Yeah.
The problem wasn't just Nikwe.
It's the entire architecture.
It was the entire architecture. The report spoke against.
Yes.
It was the
A
entire
system that
it's a
is
system.
broken and not functioning well.
It's a system. So that was why the committee recommended that the entire system, as constituted, is not fit for purpose.
So the NSA should take their alliances,
So why do you now
clean house, set them up again,
Start the whole process.
and then give them back the
Nathan.
alliances, and then keep an eye on what they are doing.
Nathan, so what happened? 4 months? Is that to take the passing of Bahubali for us to revisit this matter again? And that is why yesterday I said, and I'll say that again. If I am the appointing authority, I am going after the NSA boss, and if the NSA boss tries to shift blame, I'm going after the sports minister. Because obviously, he has oversight. He commissioned the panel.
Yeah, he did.
They did their job.
Yeah.
Follow-ups.
Yeah.
Did you check? You see,
The sports minister must have a conversation with the people at the NSA,
Yes.
and get them to do, because it's a very simple. Well, we've heard them say, "Oh, it's not as simple as we think," but you see, that's why you are in that position. So you can, we can't, you can.
now let me tell the sports minister this. If Jan Pofranka is reluctant to implement the findings of this committee, he, the sports minister, should take charge. Let the ministry take charge of this. Of course, the ministry have the powers to.
Yeah.
Let the ministry take charge and suspend all boxing activities. Because, Nathan, the disregard for protocols is too much. Recently, I was told that they still use the nest at ringside. Recently, I think that was before you had a conversation with Ekwasma and Ko here. We can speak to Ekwasma.
The nurse is still
It's
functioning.
still at ringside. Look, Nathan, the disregard for the need to make sure boxers are safe. Look, no boxer is safe. If there's a Ghanaian boxer going to take a fight in this country, he should know very well that he puts himself in danger if he doesn't go through all the mandatory steps before he goes into the ring. Anything can happen to you because all sorts of things happen. Matchmakers are doing all sorts of things. Promoters are doing all sorts of things. Olarinwaju, how did they make that match? How did they make it?
Yeah.
That boy was overweight,
This is Sport FM.
heavier than his opponent.
Voice of
They said, oh,
sport.
take a dive. It's an Achiak Bechi. The Nigerian said, no, he won't do it. Eventually, because of money, he had to consider doing it.
He was on his way out
Yes.
when he was brought back, blah, 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 and then we all know how
Achiak
it's-
Bechi is killing Ghana boxing. And this Achiak Bechi, we've been talking about Achiak Bechi, sounds funny.
But it's actually a very serious
That is the
thing.
order of the day.
And Joshua Clotter, if you listen to that voice, he mentioned it.
Yes. Okay, Nathan, this thing has to stop. And that's what I'm saying. If the NSA is reluctant, and you see, some of us, we know some of the things that have happened in Ghana boxing. Okay? And I know why Jan Pofranka is reluctant to deal with these people. Okay? He's conflicted. An honorable sports minister. You can come and ask me why. He's in conflict. And that is why he can't take on his people.
Sport
And that is why he's handling this matter with kids' gloves. But you see, Nathan, if it continues like that, he's endangering the lives of more boxers. He's in conflict. Okay? And we cannot allow these things to happen. So, sports minister, if you're listening to us this morning, take the job from Jan Pofranka. He has deputies, of course. Maybe their deputies should handle it. Maybe the deputies should handle this matter with the GBA. They should handle it and handle it the way the minister wants, as per the findings of this report. Because it looks like Jan Pofranka cannot deal with the boxers. He cannot. And he knows he's in conflict.
This is really puzzling. Me, the only question I have is for the GBA. Ray, my question is for the GBA, and you touched on it. I would like to know what contract was brought to the GBA. What did they see in that contract? And how did they approve this bout to happen? Because if the two boxers are not in the same weight class, they have no business being in the same ring. If the two boxers in question are not in the same weight class, they have no business being in the same ring. I've seen some media reports say that it was a middleweight. I don't know whether it even makes it easy or it makes it better or worse. I don't know. But the point is, Dickson clearly is a cruiserweight. The man fights in the higher parts of boxing, in the higher weights, cruiserweight, bridgerweight. He's close to a heavyweight.
Even if he drops to middleweight, he's obviously.
He will obviously be the heavier boxer.
His punches will obviously be stronger than that of the light heavyweight boxer.
Or the people did not follow the conversation when Canelo and Crawford were going. Yes. Why do we think we're talking about the power advantage? Simply because Canelo was coming in as the heavier boxer. So it makes perfect sense that Dickson, who is a cruiserweight, by default, is taking on this lightweight. Clearly, there will be a problem. So my question has to go to the GBA. Why did the GBA sanction this? Unless they are telling us that boxing is happening on their blind side, which is even a bigger problem.
No.
But it is not the case.
Let me read it. So when we're talking, I got a message. The accepted standard and international best practice is that a boxer who gets knocked down in a bout shouldn't fight in the next 6 months.
The voice of sport.
He can only be allowed to fight after and only after a mandatory medical certification clears him to fight again with proper and thorough medical treatment and checkup done on him.
Now, the reason why the GBA cannot extricate itself from this is that if the international standard says that you are supposed to be cleared by who? Cleared by the regulatory body.
Yes. So, based on what did they claim to fight after he was knocked down by Jonathan Tete?
In May.
He was knocked out in the 7th round.
So, standard boxing practice is that if you get KO'd, you are not fighting in the next 6 months until you have been cleared. There's a reason why the people who run world boxing say this.
Yes.
Because they know that when you get KO'd, it's not a joke.
No.
6 months is a long time to spot things that have gone wrong in your body. If something wrong with your brain, we'll see. If there's some damage, we'll see. It gives you time to recover. But the gentleman fought in May, got KO'd in the 7th. September, he's fighting again. No way.
But the Ghana boxing said they cleared him and they are done. Everything is fine.
No.
The boxer went home. They cleared him to go home. So we should be circumspect in our report.
No. The GBA, if you are listening to us,
and this was the same stance they took when Olarin Waju passed. This was the same behavior. Oh, it was natural causes. The boxer died in the ring. It happens. These things happen. Only for us to go and investigate and find out that indeed it was only in Banugu Sports and BP that they checked before he went to fight. There was no weighing. There was no official weighing.
Sporty FM.
Nothing happened. No doping control. Nothing. And this is why the committee came and said, look, let's put all these things in place before we go back to boxing. But no.
Boxing is still happening.
Boxing stakeholders. They call them boxing stakeholders. Boxing stakeholders say they want their boxing. They won't agree.
Boxing stakeholders.
So we should continue like this.
They want their boxing.
No, Nathan. So we should continue like this. Boxing stakeholders, they want to have their way at the expense of the health and welfare of boxers in this country. Look, Nathan, if you are thinking about getting a world champion, if you are thinking about producing world champions like the Azumers and the Ikotes and co, Nathan, we cannot continue this boxing business. We cannot continue this boxing business the way it is being run. No way. Nathan, Doesn't it surprise you that people like Azuma Nelson, Aikote, Joshua Clottey, they don't poke their nose into Ghana boxing matters?
Sport
No.
FM.
Has it occurred to you that these boxers never speak about Ghana boxing? They don't say anything.
They do.
Do you know why? Do you know why?
Why?
They don't regard what they say. But these are boxers.
Their input is not.
Oh, their input is not regarded. So, that's what they do. Nathan, but these are boxers. When they were fighting at that high level, the highest level, dealing with some of the best promoters, the top promoters in this world, fighting some of the best pound-for-pound boxers, most of these people who are steering the affairs of GBA today were nowhere to be found. So when they come and they recommend best practices to you, Nathan, you listen. You listen. But why? But that is not happening. What are we seeing today? When we talk, they say, oh, we want to run the GBA down. We are criticizing them too much. But Nathan, people cannot continue to die after boxing bouts. People cannot continue to collapse in boxing rings.
Of course.
Sporty FM, the voice of sport.
The sports minister must pick this matter up and fix it.
Yeah. He must.
He knows where it all started. Sports minister must fix it. And I'm very confident this will be the last time we'll be complaining about boxing not being done strictly in accordance to the rules and regulations of the sport. Thank you very much, Nathan.